So the girl from Libs of TikTok got doxxed.
She did.
And basically
by fucking Crocodile Tears Taylor Lorenz.
So Taylor Lorenz is this person that writes for all these magazines, right?
55 years old.
What's the joke that everyone keeps saying she's old?
Well, I saw that yesterday too. Because she went on that. I remember when she was crying on NBC and she said like under 35-year-old whatever journalist, and then everybody's like, she was like trying to put herself in the under 35 category, and then everybody's like, you're not under 35.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah. Well, she's she's this girl, and she's public enemy
She's the greatest journalist in the world.
Public enemy canceller that essentially she writes all these pieces. She was one of the original rats that was going into what was the app that you people used for 10 seconds and no one does anymore, where we used to do the audio chat rooms?
Oh, Clubhouse.
She was one of the original Clubhouse rats that would go and people would do.
It's funny you said you people, and I thought it was like a Jew thing. I go, what app?
She would do these.
It's like J-Swipe?
Right. She would do these apps, and then she would be there with her notepad and a fake avatar, and then she'd write stories in the New York Times, being like, just so you know, some guy said fag in the chat room. So
she had a bunch of those.
She was doing all sorts of stuff like this, and then her big thing, she's honestly canceled tech guys almost the most. It's a big part of her cancellation spree, right? But the funny part is she I guess, because she entered this arena of, essentially declaring war on people, other people declared war back, obviously.
I mean, the real crazy thing was her going on MSNBC and doing that whole thing of crying, being like, you don't know how hard it is to be a journalist. People are doxing me.
Right. But the funny part is, so after the framework set, she is this woman that's dedicated her life to essentially doxing people.
Yeah.
And then she doxed this person for doxing people.
Yes.
Because I guess that is true. And to be honest,
You're saying Libs of TikTok is doxing people?
Well, it's a little bit different than doxing because those people have put those videos themselves out there.
I would say this too, because especially it's TikTok is those people, when you put something on TikTok, the goal is for it to get 1 million views. It's not like putting something on Twitter.
Okay, so my point is, it just depends on the definition of doxing. Let's say we remove whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
If you say that, I don't know what you would say if someone...
Personal information, I think, is your phone number, address.
Well, what they do a lot is the employers.
Yeah.
So it'd be the equivalent of if you, did something that you didn't like and everyone goes, he's playing at this club and this club and this club and this and this.
That's your place of employment. I would say that's doxing.
Well, that's the big part of Libs of TikTok is here's this teacher, she works here sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So whether or not people agree with it or whatever, that's just what's happening. So it's basically someone that's saying they're doxing this person for doxing this person and then going on a thing being everyone's doxing. It's
sounds like a whole lot of streamer bullshit right here. Sounds like they would be very comfortable in the world of streaming.
Yeah, and I think once you're in the public, I don't think you could have it's hard to probably have a million followers on social media and keep it, no one ever knows who you are.
Especially an account that pisses so many people off.
Has anyone ever pulled that off?
What?
Where you have, is there anyone right now that has an account with just millions of followers and no one knows who's behind it? Maybe some crypto people or something? No,
yeah, there's crypto people for sure. Titania McGrath.
They kept that going for a while?
For a bit, and then someone in the UK outed him. There's crypto people. There's a bunch of crypto accounts that are just totally anonymous.
Okay.
And I think that
does anyone know who Zero Hedge is? Are these?
I bet someone does, but no, I don't know who Zero. I don't know if that's ever come up.
But there's nothing funnier about the journalists that have dedicated their life to harassing people essentially and trying to get people fired and stuff like that, and then it comes back to them where people are mad and they're flabbergasted. Whatever you want to say about the most inflammatory on the people, we're talking about, let's say a Ted Cruz of the world. I don't think Ted Cruz is ever going to come out and be like, I am being harassed. Unless to say, yeah, this happens to me just as much as you. So it's this crazy thing where you go, who's fucking declaring war on the internet on entire groups of people and then surprised that
for sure.
that there's some people that aren't that happy about it. It always reminds me of being on an airplane and you're kind of you're like kind of someone's kind of kicking your seat and then you kind of put it back and then they're kicking the seat and you're putting it back, or vice versa, and then the one person eventually like looks around like, what are you doing? You're like, hey, we both know what's going on here. You kicked your seat back and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, whatever, maybe we're both being petty right now, but we're both
being petty.
We both know what's going on here.
Yeah. I mean,
like you go, all I did was try to get this person fired and now you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, this is classic. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Of course.
Tale old as time.
And it's not even this. It's not even the sword. It's people sending you a hate mail, essentially.
Well, you want to dox people, you're going to get doxed. I don't know.
Yeah.
People are going to try and do that to you.
But the crazy part is these people that you go, yes, listen, being in the nitty gritty of like culture war on Twitter all day, every day is probably not the greatest for your health if you're not in the greatest health.
No.
And you either have to sort of detach yourself from it, or are the type of person that just likes fighting, or you kind of play it as a game or whatever.
Weird
but
side gig too for like this Orthodox Jewish woman.
It's very weird that I think it is kind of funny, yeah.
This is like Orthodox Jewish woman who's a realtor.
Yeah, that also
like, on the side I just just post about libs of TikTok.
Right.
It's a hobby, I guess.
yeah.
I guess you could say it's a hobby.
But yeah, to be there, and then she goes, I'm getting all this hate, and it was just like, I'm not, you know how normal people, like you could say someone's getting bullied on the internet, people will make this argument to high school kids, be like, well, just log off, and you go, that's maybe easy for you to say, but it's like, dude, if you're a 16-year-old that like is legitimately, everyone at your school is making groups about you,
yeah, of course.
It would suck, right?
And there's still like the in-person.
And I know like a lot of comedians make the joke, like you just log off. But if there's a big difference between that and you've dedicated your life to fighting people, and then you go, I can't date with anymore. And it's like, shit, you could stop anytime.
Yeah.
At any point, you could be like, you know what? I'm not going to write any more articles about how other people should be fired. And tomorrow, people will stop yelling at you.
Yep.
Right?
But if only it was that easy, Ryan.
Oh, they're like, this is the thing. It's this idea of like, I have this like mental problems and I can't deal with the stress of this. And you go, well, what is making you do this? You go, I can't stop.
It's the libs of TikTok.
Oh, she probably hates libs of TikTok right now.
Oh, yeah.
And it just made them more popular. It made them stronger.
Well, but also it just adds this element. I mean, it is this weird kind of element though with where Taylor Lorenz specifically is being like, hey, if you want to do this, like I'm going to invite like danger, this element of danger into your life, like into your real life.
Right.
Because, that woman is probably like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
you know what it is?
Get hit with a bike lock or something.
I think the internet's figured out to some degree how to make trying to cancel people not free.
Yeah.
It used to be only upside. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There was a time when, kind of trying to get someone fired, it was almost only upside. Not only did it accomplish the goal that you wanted, usually, it also made you like a hero and probably got you more popularity and stuff like that. Now, I think the internet's figured out how to make a downside. It's not free to try to ruin someone's life.
No.
Like guys like Barstool and stuff like that to Business Insider, Dave Portnoy and Business Insider is like, yeah, like it wasn't free for them to try to,
I think
write this article.
It was
about
free for a while
me.
too, because the people who were oftentimes doing the campaign were like, we're journalists. This is what journalists do.
This is the game.
And yeah, this is the game. We're journalists. I don't know. This is what we do. This is journalism. And then people are like, yeah, I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Well, it's just
I don't respect your journalism, so I don't care.
And also these people have a public platform, so they go, okay, and you're a public speaker with your opinion. It's like, okay, well, here's mine, and I have a whole bunch of followers too, and now we're at war.
Libs of TikTok has a bigger reach than Taylor Lorenz.
You're not anonymously tattling to the teacher anymore. You're declaring war you're declaring a fight at the ballpark. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now you're going to the cages.
Bike locks at dawn.
Did you guys have that? The cage fights at your school?
What, my Jewish school?
Yeah.
No.
If someone, you know what I mean? If someone's dime went missing or something like that.
We didn't have cage fighting. Why do you have a cage?
The tennis courts.
Oh.
At my
high school we did. Yeah, high school we had, that was a big I don't know if it was the tennis courts. I think it was usually on the baseball diamond.
You didn't have that if someone gave you like a bad stock pick or something like that. You go to the tennis courts.
To the tennis courts, to the polo grounds.
We used to call it the cages, though. And there was probably one a week that there was a big fight.
In high school, there was, I don't remember where the fights went down. They were usually, I think because they were always off school property, right? Because that was the thing, you can't be
tennis courts were right
can't
off
be on school
property.
property because then it's like a different offense.
And everyone went out. There's lots of fights down there. The famous one my favorite of all time, was when the guy pushed the guy and then a wrench fell out of his thing. And he goes, "Oh, you've got that wrench now."
Whatever happened with the wrench?
The Colombian guy, we used to call him the Lumbian. He was a couple years older than us, so no one wanted to mess with the Lumbian.
Did the wrench get
And his
used?
friend we called the Pigeon because he looked like he used to walk like a pigeon.
Yeah.
And we used to say the Pigeon and the Lumbian. And he'd always be, say it to his face then. No one would have the guts to. No one would. That used to be the thing anytime he was around. He'd be like, oh, I was meeting up with so-and-so and be like, what were you just gave him a nickname, weren't you? And I'm like, no, I think you were saying something about it. It wasn't me. you definitely wouldn't want to call him Pigeon to his face, man.
Shut up.
Thank you for watching that clip, supporting the channel. If you like The Boyscast, there's a new episode every week at patreon.com/TheBoyscast.
That's patreon.com/TheBoyscast.